The next stove I'd like to show you is it's really cool. Uh, Comes in a nice little package like this. You can even have it in your car and just keep it there. If you're traveling cross country, you can always stop and make some food. But anyway, the way this works, it comes in a little pouch like that, and it has this unit. This unit has a fan and a battery pack, and you assemble it by putting it into that slot. See this round thing here, the cylinder? Put it in there. Then you open the leg, and that holds that attachment in place. You open the other legs, and now you have a stable stove. The way this works is with twigs. You use wood for this one. You basically put some thin twigs inside. You put some kindling, or you don't even need the kindling. It comes with some fire starter, and you can make your own fire starter. I'll talk about that shortly. And you take a little piece of this, you light it, you put the wood in there, you light it, and you put the fire starter in there. Right away it starts this stove inside the combustion chamber. But as you notice, this piece over here is right in the middle where the flames are. And what happens is that this unit has a thermoelectric generator inside. And as the flames heat this piece over here, it generates electricity that you can use. So for example, in the front over here, you have 3 different banners, or not banners, but indicators. As you can see, this one over here, it will tell you the status of the battery. It's charging the battery, and you can see the green light going up as this element heats up. The middle one is the fan. It has 4 speeds, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you want a low fire, you just put the appropriate amount of twigs inside, and you put the fan on low, and that will keep the fire low. If you want it more intense, you raise it to 2, 3, or 4, and that will burn a much hotter flame. And then the one over here on the right, it's just an indicator of how the flames in here are. You know, how hot is it in there. If it's real hot, you know, and you don't want it that hot, you can always turn the fan down, or you can not feed it the thicker pieces of wood, but keep it small and not the same amount. One thing that this stove has, and why I think it's so neat, is that it has a USB connector where if you're cooking at night, you can put in this light attachment and then turn it on, and you have light. So you can cook at night, or you can use it inside once the battery is charged, you can use it inside your tent or outdoors or whatever. The other thing is that, let me just turn this off. This stove has different attachments that are optional. It has another one that is like a grill, and that grill, you can grill steaks, you can grill hot dogs, whatever you want. And of course, since we were talking about water, you can always boil water. It works fantastic. One of the optional attachments is a pot similar to this, actually not similar to this, but more taller, and it's a water boiling pot, specifically designed to boil water, and you can see when it's actually boiling the water. So those attachments are optional, but this stove is so cool. One of the things that you're going to have to address in case of a power outage is your communications, and for your phone, for example. So this little stove will be able to charge your phone, and that way you can stay in communications with the authorities, or you can stay in communication with your family. It might even power a small laptop if you have one. But you have lights and you have communications. Very important, very neat, very handy. Okay, the last stove I'd like to show you, it's a rocket stove. Rocket stoves are a specific design. They burn very efficiently, and they require very little wood to burn efficiently, very intense fires. And you can have a low fire with low heat, or you can have highly intense fire and temperature. Now, rocket stoves is the category of stove. This particular brand, this design was made in England, and I bought it online, and I believe it was like $50 or $55. Anyway, you can make, using those same principles of a rocket stove, you can make them with cans, you can make them with pipes, with concrete bricks, you can make them, because the principle is the same. Essentially, what it does is you have a platform with holes at the bottom, or going through, and you're going to lay the wood down. Once I put this in place, the wood is going to lay on top, and that's going to be the fuel, and oxygen is going to go underneath this holder, underneath, and go through the holes and feed the oxygen to the fire. That's the principle of a rocket stove. And essentially, this goes in here, like that. And you put it in. The oxygen is going to go underneath and feed the fire, the fuel from underneath, giving it a nice intense flame. And the top, you're going to rest the wood on top. And as it burns, all you do is you push the wood in a little bit more. This will incinerate that wood to ashes. Not even carbon, just ashes, because it's so efficient. As you notice, this particular stove has a very wide top, and compared to the pot that I used earlier, which is for the smaller stoves, this one you can actually cook for a family. And all you do is you start the fire with some twigs. All it takes is a few twigs to get it going. And as you want more heat, you put in thicker pieces of wood, just rest them on the fuel rest here and push them in as needed. The rest will take care of itself. This one will boil water in about, I'd say about 4 minutes for about 2 quarts of water. Compared to the other stove, the Striker stove, that one, it only took 2 minutes. It was very intense fire. This one, you're using wood, and you're going to be feeding it a little bit at a time until you get the type of heat that you need. The good thing about this one is you can cook for an entire family. You can boil a lot of water for consumption, or you can make a big pot of soup.